Alright, so we've got quite a lot happening on page 4 and 5, and I'm doing them, going to do them together. So starting with the outer page, so remember they've got the flaps. I'm just going to prep these quickly. I haven't cut the mats for these. I didn't have the black on me earlier. I'm going to use those. So I do want to mat these in black. So just going to pick up some black that I've got lying around, and I'm going to mat them. And I think these are just a plain 6x4 mat or page, photo mat. Gosh, some of these are a little crooked. I think I'm going to leave a little black along the bottom there, on the two bottom ones, just for adding some journaling or some words. So I'm just using all the bits and pieces, all the scraps that I've got lying around of black. Did I do this 1/2 inch, I think? Yeah, 1/2 inch. So those are the two bottom ones, and then I need the two top ones. Let's see if I can fit one here, and these I'm going to just do a plain mat. Oh, silly me. Sorry about the coughing. That's just a little salt. So these are 5.5 by 4. So I was a bit silly using this piece. Okay, so this is the top section, and we are going to pop those like so. So we've got 4. So probably if this was working on an album that I was going to put photos in for me for now, I would more than likely choose the best of the photos that I have. So I found these and they're like a mirror image, so I like that symmetrical look. So let's just flip these over and let's add in tape. I think the only benefit of using tape is that if you don't like something you can move it, whereas with glue, once it's stuck, it's pretty much stuck. then you'll notice I'm not particularly fussy about how I stick this. I also have in my stash, I have some of this in the various different colors, and I'm thinking that before I stick these down, I'm just going to put a couple of strips, wind a bit of twine around it. And the same on this side. So let's get one side stuck. Just wind it. And then it here at the back. So if you may notice that I generally only use red scissors for tape, and I use black for everything else. That way I'm not cleaning a million pairs of scissors all the time. So that's done, and remember we will be coming back to add in the other embellishments, but for now I'm just adding in the things that have jumped out at me for certain pages. Okay, if that makes sense. I've moved them in a little bit, so not center, because of having these elements. And here I can see, if I want to get a sort of a line, I can see that I need to have it just over. And so I'm using these bits and pieces as a way in which to keep things straight. Sometimes it won't necessarily be straight on your page, but if you keep it in line with what's happening here, the pattern, it will kind of still look straight. The eye will look at it and go, oh, look, the pattern, and it's all straight, even if it isn't. So this one's a little bit more tricky. Okay, I've got that one there, and then these two, again, I'm going to raise them using my foam tape. Just get it off my cupboard. So I'm only going to put one piece for now. I can always add in later. But if I've just got one piece for now, it means that I can pop photos underneath it. So especially if you're preparing an album for a holiday, and if you're like me, I prepare my albums, and then I take them with me and fill them in while I'm away, because I know when I get home I'll never have time to do it. One in there. I think I've got this one a little bit too far down. Let's see if we can move it. Okay, I might have to undo it later. So glue undo. So that's the base of page, what are we, page 4 and 5. We have a lot of place for photos here, so we're going to open this up, and I've picked up these two, which is page 4 and 5, which is going underneath the flap, and I have cut these two. They are the same pieces of paper. They are, I'll get there now, I think it's 30334, and we cut them to 12 inches by 9.5 inches, so it's a little bit shorter. And then what I did is I scored, this one is scored at, I've already done the scoring, the right hand side is scored at 6.5 and 7, and the left hand side is scored at 5 and 5.5, so it's scored there at 5, excuse me sniffing, 5 and 5.5, and this one is scored on this side, it's scored at 6.5 and 7. Okay, so this, if you have got lots of photos, you're going to add these. If you don't have a lot of photos, you will probably not want to add this. We've got 2 half-inch sections, and we are going to tape to create a couple of flaps. I'm going to use 10mm tape. If you have it, use it, otherwise just use your half-inch. It's quite hard working on here because you can't see with the pattern. And I'm going to just sneak off the edge, the end here as well. This one will be easier because the tape is now straight. And there are my 2 pieces, my 2 score lines. I didn't got crooked. It's a little bit crooked towards the top here. Let's see if I can move it. No, too late. Doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. Maybe it would have been easier if you'd folded it. Okay, and this one I have already folded. So we are going to pop them down. I'm lining it right up with the edge, but also making sure that you can still close that. Okay, so it opens there and there, and we're doing the same on this side. And I've particularly chosen to have an orange there and an orange there, even though this one is upside down. I'm not too stressed because the writing kind of is, some of it's this way and that way, so it's good. But it means that we've got extra pages for our photos. Okay, so now what I thought of is that on these flaps here, and if you like symmetry like me, you might want to do photos like so. So it gives you an opportunity for some big photos. It doesn't matter if they stick over. And I'm actually not going to do this yet. I'm going to think about exactly how I want to position these photos, but just to show you that you're going to be able to fit quite a few photos in here, which is exactly what we want. I've also, what I've done is I've cut for this one, I've also cut a whole heap of different sizes. So I think this is a 4x4, I've got some 3x4s, I've also got the journaling cards. So I think for this part of the exercise, I'm going to come back, I'm going to think a little bit more on these and come back to see how I want to position it. But for now, at least I know my pages are in place. You might, if you are making this album, you might also want to wait until you've got your photos to see what size photo mats you've got. But we are going to be able to fit a lot of photos in here. So that's page 4 and 5 as far as I'm getting page 4 and 5. These guys I'm going to just put together like so, because I also want to use some of these, the journaling cards, the cutter parts, some of you call them. I call them journaling cards. I also want to use journaling cards in here. So you will come back, you will see what I've done with these at a later stage. I'm just trying to see where I can put them because it's so bulky. Just pop them over there. Right, so that's the base of page 4 and 5, and we'll get ready to go on to page 6.